Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Equine Episode Examination, where today we'll be talking about the newest MOP Season 7 episode. Uh, it's a long one, so it isn't the main thing about you. Just barely fits in the text box there at the top. Welcome to Triple E. If this is your first time joining us, we're just going to go ahead and discuss the newest episode of the show that premiered last Saturday. And we'll just be all giving our opinions on it and have a big open roundtable discussion on the episode and what we thought about it. Of course, in addition to everyone here and I think it's going to be in the voice chat, everyone is welcome to participate and encouraged to participate in the discussion in the text chat room. So if you are not watching this on CinemaQuestria.com and you want to participate in the chat and you're not watching a recording, head on over to CinemaQuestria.com/stream and you can join our Discord server there and participate in the live discussion during this. If you're watching a recording of this, we do record this live on usually Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So make sure to head over to there on Tuesdays if you want to join in a future discussion for one of a future episode. Because we still got quite a few left this season. We're getting closer to the end, but still got a few left to discuss. So, I'm Rain Shadow, by the way, and there's a few other people on the call if they want to introduce themselves.
This is Jay Smith.
The call is dead.
Arr, ye scurvy land lovers, it'd be talking like a pirate day, be Captain Ben the call. I'm not even going to do this the whole time, I'm just not. I was going to wait.
Punk rarity is better rarity. There you go.
Almost dropped something there. We'll go ahead and we will get started. Whatever everyone's initial thoughts on it isn't the main thing about you besides punk rarity.
I just love how the fact that we have magic that can make perfectly workable mustache growing spells that have been shown twice, in both cases on faces that shouldn't be expected to be able to grow mustaches, yet it can't regrow a ruined mane.
But what they were showing in the episode was that the magic that's used has to have the energy come from somewhere. So what's probably happening is that somewhere in Equestria, someone's moustache is being removed from their face and being put on spikes.
Yep, that's a future episode I want to see. I want to see the lost story of the poor pony that lost their mustache.
Be funny then if it ended up being Stephen Magnus' mustache that popped on him instead of dying.
But yeah, I mean, it's a fun episode. You know, it's it's a rarity episode, and they very seldom ever seem to be ever bad. Really, it just seems that Tabitha is just fucking great as rarity. She always has been, and I think she always will be. But yeah, it does play into sort of a bit of rarity, sort of vanity. But I mean, it's kind of understandable considering the situation she's under, because she wants to look her best because she's obviously having her mane photographed and that, and yeah. I really did like this episode. I mean, there was a number of things I liked. I liked that we got to see Zakora again. I liked the fact that, we got to see a Rarity and Pinky episode, which is something I don't think we've really ever seen before. Putting
your hoof down was sort of a Rarity Pinky episode, wasn't it?
Yes, but it was the focus was on Fluttershy there.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Wasn't there? We've had a Rarity Pinky episode before, because there was a map episode that was a Rarity Pinky episode.
Oh yeah.
With the mod, with the mod, yeah.
But it's still, but it was still enjoyable, though.
Oh gosh, yeah. No, I'm not going to argue. You're not going to argue with that. I really enjoyed the episode. It was one of those that was just really fun to watch, and of course any episode with Rarity is going to be fun to watch. And
just a recommendation, if you rewatch though, don't rewatch using earphones towards the end of the second act, because yeah, you might not have any years left.
But yeah, I think it was a pretty solid episode. It actually had a good like story to it and moral in the end, on top of all of the very crazy comedy and that revolved around Rarity losing her mane. It was an interesting sort of subject to tackle as well, because of course Rarity is all about sort of outward appearances and looking her best, and her mane is sort of her focal point of her look, and so losing that is kind of a big deal, especially for her. So it was interesting to have an episode that sort of explored that there. Of course it was a really funny episode, but it's interesting to just kind of explore that aspect of her character as well.
I also love how this particular episode is another one of those confidence-building episodes. I don't know if we've actually had a whole hell of a lot of those, before now. Now that I think about it.
Well, let's just say this is probably the first confidence-building episode I think we've seen that isn't actually had Fluttershy as the focal point.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Certainty.
yeah. I apologize. Yeah,
Which
you're right. We did.
Which makes a change, and it's normally Fluttershy that's always the one that lacks the self-confidence and everything. Whereas
Yeah, you're
here,
right.
I mean, Rarity
have
is
had
not
her-
lacking in self-confidence. She has her confidence whipped away from her from circumstances, beyond her control.
True.
So yeah, moving into story and writing, this episode was written by Josh Haber, who makes a return to actually writing in an episode, in addition to now story editing this season, along with Joanne and Christine. So, of course, Josh Haber was the story editor for last season and has wrote a lot of episodes, including the premiere and the finale last season. So it's good to have him back on the show, and I think he wrote for Rarity really well in it.
I don't get the shit that Hayburton causes of the fandom. It baffles me, because I think most of the episodes he's written for the show have been pretty solid, and I think his term as story editor was pretty solid as well.
It's because he story edited the first season where Starlight was in it. You know that has probably a lot to do with it.
But that's not true. The first season that had Starlight in it was
you know what I mean though. The first season after she was reformed, when the shit really hit the fan with her. That's he story edited the first season with her as part of the main, sort of like the cast of the show.
Not technically true if you count the final episode of season 5, but yeah.
Which was also written by who? Yeah. Josh Haber. Yeah. So that's.
Yeah, but it was story. Yes, but it was story.
But that's why the hate. That's why I'm just trying to explain
so.
all the hate that he's getting, and it has a lot to do with Starlight Glimmer.
Yeah, I'm just trying to explain why it seems a bit sort of misplaced. But and if you look at his episodes individually, I think he's had a lot more hits than misses.
Again, not to beat a dead horse here, but this episode really continues with a lot of good continuity within the season. The episode itself, like in the story, doesn't have a lot of continuity or really build upon a lot of it, with the exception of that callback to season 1 with Rarity giving to.
There was a callback to Yax in the discussion between Rarity and Pinky.
Okay, there was
that
too. But a lot of the continuity was really a lot of really good visual continuity that kind of continues stuff and kind of makes it seem like a lot of the events that have happened this season so far haven't just unhappened or just that's it, we're never going to speak of them again or anything like that. We see Grandpere and Granny Smith both together in a booth in the market at one point at the beginning. We also see Burnt Oak there as well later in the episode in the market, and we also briefly see Big Mac and Sugar Belle walking together on the farm in one scene, and I completely missed that the first time I was watching. So I really liked that. Like, it's not like it's necessarily in the script or anything in the writing or the episode, but somewhere down the line in the storyboard or something, someone made the decision to put them in these situations, and it's nice because it provides us with a little bit more of that continuity for the season. Makes the world seem more alive, and not just like, oh, that episode that happened at the beginning of the season has no ramifications, or we're never going to speak of that again. It still exists, and it was nice to see.
Oh, I'm pretty sure we will end up seeing Rarity's punk style again in the future at least once. It's almost a guarantee, I think.
I don't think we'll ever see it in the show proper. I wouldn't be surprised if we see it in an Equestria Girls as sort of a reference.
Acting feelings after that, after she'd started, after that day.
It was really nice seeing Rarity throughout the episode, the beginning and the end, sort of generally offering tips to other shopkeepers about how to bring in more customers as well. It wasn't just her giving fashion advice or tips to other ponies like she normally does. Here she's actually like giving like business tips, which is nice because it kind of plays into that other aspect of her. We all know her as like, fashion horse and, really into fashion and stuff. But in the bottom line is she is a business person who runs a business, and a very large business now, much larger than it was at the beginning of the show. So it's nice to see her offering that kind of advice to other ponies as well, because I think that's another one of her strong suits. Not only is she a fashionista, but she's also a very savvy business pony as well.
My head canon, we're going to have most of Equestria being run by Rarity Industries, which is going to be funded by the Apple Mafia.
Rarity Industries is just the front corporation.
Yeah.
And yeah, speaking of that scene, I mean, that was quite the long cold open. That was 3 minutes long before we actually got to the credits. One of the longer ones we've had there. It wasn't really setting up much in terms of the directly in the story, but it was more setting up her doing what she was doing and being so outgoing and helping all these other, being generous and helping all these other ponies, but then to sort of later in the episode turn on its head, and when she doesn't have that confidence anymore in her outward appearance, we see her having trouble doing that same thing later. So it was kind of doing that same thing, and we revisit a lot of these same scenes later in the episode. I don't know if it needed to be exactly 3 minutes long and show as much as they did there to get the point home, but that's pretty much was the point of the opener there.
It was nice to see the Cake Twins again.
Mm-hmm.
As well.
Agreed.
And Pinky
They're
still
actually adorably. But, yeah, just fucking Pinky having a fucking crowbar in her mane.
What else is she packing in there?
Well, she keeps it for crowbar emergencies. Of course.
Next thing we know, we get to see a Half-Life thing starring Pinky. She's already got the crowbar, she just needs the convent to attack.
Just gonna say that crowbar might have come in handy during the Changeling invasion.
One of the things I found weird is are there really no wig shops around? I just find it so odd that, with the exception of sort of that bonnet that Granny Smith had, we'd never really mentioned wigs as a potential solution to Rarity's problem here. I'm sure I'm sure there are reasons why a wig wouldn't be a potential solution, but I'm just find it weird that they were never even going down. They never tried that route throughout the episode at all.
I actually am kind of surprised that with, Fluttershy didn't even call in her brother, who is a main stylist, to help out.
That would have been an interesting callback. Not that there is much main to style there.
I mean, true, but
Rarity did pretty good herself, I guess.
it's just like I was looking this up, and I mean, like, yeah, I mean, Fluttershy's brother, Zephyr, is an actual hairdresser. I mean, he might have been able to have, probably at least give it like some sort of advice or something like that.
So, I mean, you can kind of maybe explain stuff like that away about why she knew wig, because, I mean, she wouldn't want to not feature her natural hair. Not feature her natural hair in it. But at some point, she was pretty desperate that I think she might have. So I think that was kind of maybe a hole in the story that, at the very least, they didn't try and plug. Like, you probably could have plugged it, but they didn't really even mention wigs, which really surprised me.
Thing to mention in that though is that you see a lot of older ponies that are like almost bald that don't wear wigs. So
Yeah, but I mean, we've seen wigs in the series before, so we know they exist.
fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, at least with the magic they explained it. Yeah, it's contrived, but at least they explained it. They plugged the hole by saying main magic magic's not really good with mains. It's complicated. It doesn't really work, and you can't just create something out of nowhere without like drastic consequences. So, okay, that makes sense. At least we've dealt with that. But yeah, the wig thing was just, a little sore spot.
Here's a good question: when Twilight did her time traveling in the episode with future Twilight in, how much magical energy was used for her to travel back in time, and where did that energy come from?
I don't think it's energy not coming from anywhere. It's the hair itself creating matter out of nothing.
So has like Twilight erased time to be able to go back in time somewhere? So has like somewhere like had lost time because of her going back in time. It's confusing.
Time isn't matter. I'm talking about matter. Hair is actual things, and she's saying that she can't like create that hair from nothing. She has to. That's why we see her grab someone else's hair, or they grab a part of the door.
It's not a thing that's quantifiable with mass.
Yeah. It's not the same deal. It's not like she has to. Yeah, exactly. It's not.
I'm overthinking this, aren't I?
Never bring time travel into a conversation. It makes everything more complicated.
This is why we'll never discuss Sonic 06.
Well, there's a lot of reasons why I won't discuss Sonic 06.
Mainly as we've discussed it a lot in the past.
Although at the very least, if let's say they needed to create a lot of things to like fight an army, at least they can now explain away why Twilight can't just magic a load of stuff into existence.
Yeah. Of course, she could maybe transfigure something into a wig, right? Right? Yes. We've seen transfiguring in the series before. Because turn that frog into a wig instead of an orange. There we go. Problem solved. What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, then it just leaps off her head.
Actually, that would have been pretty funny. I think they should have tried that.
It just jumps off her head.
Going off of Tim's point in there is that a lot of things that could have bypassed this plot. You know what could have avoided this whole thing right from the very beginning? If Zecora had actually thought to label her damn potions.
Yeah, she doesn't have high standards there of actually labeling stuff. How about that Rarity shower scene though? That was a thing. Never thought I'd see that in the pony episode.
Rainbow Dash Forward, it was hot.
No, not until later in the episode.
was interesting to see just how many characters were in this episode, because I think virtually every main character that wasn't the CMC was in this episode. We had all of the main sets. We had Spike. We had Starlight. We had Zakora, which we hadn't seen in ages, and then we had a whole host of background ponies have lines as well, and a few new ones too.
Yeah, we got to see a little bit of little callbacks. I mean, we got to see Grandpair with Granny Smith in the opening scene, along with Burnt Oak as well.
No, so the call. Oh, you were going.
Sorry.
What
Sorry.
were you about to say?
No, you go ahead. So I wasn't going to say anything too important. So
I was about to say, and also the very long callback to Stephen Magnet.
everyone's favourite sea serpent.
I really did like the in terms of the story. I did like kind of the lesson of it. It was a kind of a very mature take on a classic lesson. I mean, the episode basically boils down to beauty comes from the inside. It's a very standard kind of lesson, but it goes a little bit farther.
Way already, are we?
But
I'm sorry.
But it goes farther than that though in the writing of it. Since Verity's outward beauty really isn't the biggest thing she lost here, it was more her confidence in herself that she lost. So she was really no longer able to really speak up or command like the presence she normally does due to having her lost confidence in herself. And really that's because of how she looked and how she thought she looked.
I think a good moral here is don't let Sep back, basically.
But yeah,
it's going to get setbacks, but you should be able to have the strength to be able to overcome them.
But yeah, if you want to stand out if you want to stand out, it's not really just your inner or your outer appearance that matters. It's your confidence about who you are, and that's really what the episode really is about. It's not really truly about inner beauty or outer beauty or whatever. It's about having that confidence. And once Rarity gained back that confidence she had with the help of her friends there, she was able to find a solution to her outward appearance and kind of go back about her business.
Actually, the more I think of it, the more I think that this episode is kind of like the Hurricane Fluttershy, but for Rarity, in a kind of bizarre way, because both those episodes basically had characters overcoming lack of confidence, but in very different circumstances, and obviously with very different characteristics of the characters that were being portrayed. Oh god, Rocker Fluttershy. I would have died.
And it kind of goes even more farther deeper than that in the writing and the lesson of it. It sort of goes to that you should always make the best with what you have. So Rarity obviously lost her beautiful main style, but once she had that confidence about who she was on the inside back, she was able to use that and make herself look great on the outside again. It's not just the new look, but it's the confidence that's behind the new look. So yes, beauty is only skin deep and comes from the inside and whatever, blah blah blah, normal stuff. But none of that really matters if you don't accept and are not confident in who you are, and that's kind of like the first step that this episode pushes.
Actually, and it sort of resonates with me quite a bit because, well, Rain knows how lacking in self-confidence I can be from previous experience.
I don't really have much either, so, I can relate.
I'm over 400 pounds, I'm balding, I'm probably not going to ever get me a girlfriend because I'm also got skin psoriasis, but I'm the most badass motherfucker on this site, and don't anyone ever forget that.
Just get a new rocker hairstyle, Mr. Ben. That's all you need. Be good to go.
You have the most badass voice. Let's just say that.
That's why I usually introduce myself as the guy with the sexy voice.
But yeah, once she gains her confidence back, she really owns that new look that she has, and it kind of goes right back to her generous ways and helping the shopkeepers in Ponyville there. So I just really liked how they wrote that, and it makes me a lot more forgiving of sort of like what we were talking about earlier about some of the contrivances about what happened, because it's something that's interesting. It sucks because you really have to come up with these contrived reasons to get Rarity to actually be in this situation, but I really do like having this episode with her in this situation, because it again, we get to see that loss of confidence that she always has, and having her rebuild that confidence inside of her based not just upon her looks, but based upon who she is on the inside. And I really liked that, and I really like how they did that, and didn't just make the moral in the end be beauty comes from the inside, but really dove into the confidence part of it. It's not just about how you look on the inside. It's not just about who you are on the inside. It's about how you feel about yourself and the confidence you have in yourself.
Also, another thing about self-confidence, whilst Mr. Ben mentions about, potentially sort of faking it, that will work for a while, but ultimately, if you're not happy with yourself, it's always going to be an uphill struggle.
And it's gonna eat at you. Yeah.
I think the biggest thing, and the reason why I perhaps now do more on this site than I ever used to, or at least much more confident here, and now I can't shut the fuck up, is I've made in a peace with myself. I'm at least happy with who I am, which for the longest time, I'd say for the 10 years, I never really was. So, hey, this show can have the very high accolade of me actually being a lot more happy myself, or at least happy with myself, I should say. So, which it's quite a remarkable thing for a show that's basically aimed for little girls to achieve. So hey, it's done something good. So, hooray!
Rarity is best Garfield. Yep, inner beauty is more important than physical beauty, but even more important than inner beauty is your confidence in yourself and who you are and how you feel about yourself. You can be an okay-looking person on the outside and be really nice on the inside, but if you hate yourself, then it's not going to do you much good.
You mentioned that this episode couldn't really be done without at least some kind of contrivance. Do you know where I think that this could have been done without contrivance?
Sure.
Equestria Girls.
That's a good point. That's a really good point, actually.
It could have been done, with the same characters and everything, but obviously with it being, a world where there's nowhere near as much magic.
Yeah. The Twilight there can't. Yeah. There's magic, but the Twilight there can't just do magic like that. You're right. Yeah. I think the only problem you run into again is the wig problem. But if you can shoo that away, yeah, then that's a good point.
Although that would have meant we would have actually been able to see an Equestria Girls version of Sakura, and I would have squeed.
Well, I guess technically they probably just want to have had Sakura in it. I mean, that would have just been one less. Well, you'd have to have something in it. Maybe Sakura could be running a beauty salon that inexplicably also offers hair removal. I don't know. That would have been the interesting part, is trying to work that in, I guess.
I mean, to be fair though, just that punk look for Rarity, whoever designed that deserves a fucking medal, because it is fucking perfect. There's no other word for it. It looks perfect on her. It really does.
That designer made Matt ditch Fluttershy. That's all you need to know.
At least until
Fluttershy's crying in the corner.
Next episode that is.
The wig shop's on fire. Yeah, that would be pretty contrived, but at least it would be kind of funny. I agree there. Yeah.
Well, then again, Rarity did try Granny Smith's wig, and she said at the this main Equestria, but not Bonnet, so maybe she didn't want an unnatural wig or whatever. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I guess the main problem with the whole wig thing is like it was pointed out earlier in chat, is Rarity has made a wig for someone before. Like, actually, she has made a wig. So maybe her mane is just too complicated.
Also, the fact that this was supposed to be the most fabulous mains in Equestria, it wouldn't be her main if he used.
But no one would have to know that. She was getting pretty. The only reason I was using that originally as a reason why maybe she didn't want to do a wig, but I think she was so desperate at that point. I think she would not have. I don't think she would have cared. I guess the really easiest way they could have thrown the wigs aside would be that there's no way that no one can make a wig that looks good enough to match her, her mane. That's the only way.
Discord had bought all his wigs for his tea party with Fluttershy. Just don't ask why.
I want to know why now. Oh God. That would have been funny, but I think that's getting a little too. I don't know. I think that might be a little too crazy.
It'd be funny as hell. I mean, yeah, it would be kind of over the top, but
it would have been. Now you've taken the lamp shading of it, and you've set the lamp on fire as well.
It's like with that one Simpsons issue with, like, every time Homer was trying to make something, it would, like, catch on fire. And then he would, like, he just decided, okay, let's just go ahead and just pour a bowl of cereal with some milk, and then somehow the milk caught on fire, too.
Yep. I also really liked sort of how the main six, all of Rarity's friends, were portrayed in the episode. And I really liked what, more specifically, what they did in the end. I really liked how they helped Rarity, and then in the end even got Photo Finish to secretly take photos of her with that main style and do like a whole article about it as well. I thought that was kind of a really cool way to sort of bring that lesson home to Rarity about what she learned in the episode.
One negative connotation, though, I will give to this, and I know in terms of the story, I think it is actually quite a sweet thing they did, and I'm not going to dispute that, but taking someone's photo without their approval, yeah, be careful doing that in real life, folks. I'll just say.
Do you know that from
experience? This is why paparazzi have a bad reputation.
I was about to ask, do you know that from experience?
No.
Everyone's trying to take photos of Matt. One other thing that sort of bugged me about it, I really feel like I'm being too negative on this episode because I really did enjoy it overall. But one other thing that kind of bugged me, and I pointed this out after the episode, was it kind of felt like Starlight Glimmer just sort of disappeared at the end. I really liked how she was included in the episode. I liked how she was, a part of it with Twilight and the main six throughout it. She wasn't just inexplicably not there. I liked that, and throughout the entire episode, and then kind of in the conclusion and finale, she just kind of wasn't there, and it was just the main six, and she was there pretty much through almost the entire episode, and then right in that conclusion, right in that finale, and that sort of epilogue of a couple months later, she wasn't there, and I guess it felt like an odd story choice to have her be such a part of the story and her character, and then just have her just excluded in the end. It's not like a huge deal. It just felt odd to me that she wasn't there all of a sudden.
Odder still, we see Spike in the episode briefly as well, but considering his feelings towards Rarity, you would have thought he would have been around a little bit more.
It's kind of funny, considering how a lot of times it's been kind of implied that Spike is really more attracted to Rarity, not so much because of her personality, but because of her mane. That one time where, what was it? During the Cutie Pox, when Apple Bloom actually manages to spin the hula hoop off of Twilight's horn, and actually has Twilight's mane appear identical to Rarity's for like a few seconds. Spike looks at Twilight with the same hard eyes that he normally gives to Rarity, and I think it would have been funny, if a bit mean-spirited, if Spike had shown up and seen Rarity's messed up mane kind of like that, with it kind of in tatters like that, and then he like just screams and just runs for the hills.
Tries to pick up Princess Ember on a clumsy rebound.
No, that's when you go for the sister.
I honestly think Sweet Belle and Spike would actually be a cute couple. So,
yeah, I'm not gonna argue that.
Pimp Spike Starlight. Okay. Anything else for the story and the writing that? Oh, gosh. Anything else for the story and the writing that anyone wants to mention?
I really can't think of anything.
One thing I do like is how the actual potions got swapped. It was very simple, but it was also very subtle. It wasn't that felt entirely natural and not contrived at all, which I thought was great. I mean, I know you could say, "Oh, why didn't Sakura label them?" But A, she might not have had any access to being able to label them at the time, and B, Rarity wanted it in a hurry.
Yeah, I mean, she literally just made that or poured it or whatever into those glasses for them. I'm okay with that. She's not a pharmacist. She's she's making potions in the woods. I'm not expecting her to have FDA regulated labels on her stuff. So I agree with Matt there.
A regulator. God, that'd be fucking hilarious, actually.
She's the princess of regulation. Perfect.
She'd love that though.
She would. That's why it's so perfect. It's so believable.
This is probably why Celestia made Twilight a princess after all, so she didn't have to do all the regulation anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So she could spend more time eating cake.
Yeah. God. No regulation on cake, except that you must give it all to Celestia.
Yeah, it's called the cake tax.
Ooh. Vibrate.
Buzz.
Please save that for CinemaQuestria After Dark. Moving on.
Oh, that was my phone. That was my phone. That was my phone, by the way.
Oh, it wasn't
It
wasn't your fan.
No, that was my phone. Oh, I got a text message from QuickFit saying that my car is due to have an MOT. I know it's going in for it tomorrow.
So moving on to the characters. What does everyone think about the characterization in the episode? I guess I'll start really quick. We did mention this before, but I really loved, and I found it surprising just how many side characters were featured. It's like all of these side characters from episode 100 kind of brought back, and many of them had like voice work done as well. So we had Bon Bon, Rose, and all the other flower girls, Lyra, Derpy, Cheerilee, Vinyl, Octavia, Filthy Rich. Yep, Zakora, of course, we mentioned. And a lot of them had voice parts. I was surprised about that, seeing just how many they had there.
Josh Haber was basically trying to outlast Larson.
We already know they're the same person. It's a secret.
At least it's not a chocolate secret. Oh god. Why did I say that?
Because you were up too late last night. Yep, and there's a couple other ones there that we've seen a lot. I mean, all these ponies we've seen before. It's nice having that kind of continuity in the citizens of Ponyville there, and seeing them seeing them on all these in these Ponyville scenes.
Good to know that Equestria has a loser club. I wonder if they're still taking
Applications.
acceptance. I mean, I'd be applications. I'd probably get in straight away.
Wait, you mean this isn't the loser club right here? Oh, I must be in the wrong place.
I wasn't looking at the sign before I entered.
I do sometimes kind of refer to us as the local gang of idiots, but, you know, we're not exactly a local.
Yeah.
We're the international branch.
One of the things I really liked, and that this image kind of relates to that was just, that Radio Dog has posted, was I liked watching Rarity without that confidence and her struggling to pretty much become like Fluttershy there, where she's struggling to speak up for herself and having that confidence because she's worried that people are going to judge her based on her looks there. So she's going through all these things, and ponies are cutting her off and taking her sofa and stuff like that. So it was really cool to see.
She's a pale imitation, I'm sorry. Quite literally, because she is
I was going to say, quite literally. Yeah. Very much. I mean, that's kind of what she's known for, is she's the beautiful one. So that's one of the reasons, like I was talking about earlier, is why, despite all the contrivances, I really like the episode itself and what it's trying to do, because they're kind of taking away one of the things that seemingly made Rarity and trying to make her find something else in herself.
Rarity's success, though, as a fashion designer, has almost virtually nothing to do with her looks and all to do with her business acumen, though.
Yeah, it has to do with her confidence in herself, and that's the important part of the episode. And that's why it's so good about this episode, is because it makes that the point, where it isn't just because she's beautiful, it's because the confidence she has behind herself. And then we see her with this new rocker look that seemingly, might not fit her at all, you would think. And she goes out there and just owns it because she has that confidence back and is able to just go right on doing what she's always done. And it just makes an important point about it's not just about her beauty. She isn't just in the show and because she looks good. That's not her thing. That thing is the confidence that she has. Yeah, exactly, Starlight's Magic.
Thing is, though, Rarity has always wanted the attention, whereas Fluttershy has always been a pony that's a lot more insular.
Yeah,
and that's not. I'm not saying that as a flaw for either character. It's just who they are.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not a problem. It's just that they are in terms of that regard, they are very different sides of the coin, basically.
Yep.
And it probably makes sense why they're actually quite close friends, really, in the end. All their spa days and that.
Yeah, Rarity's always been the type of person to take center stage. Fluttershy's really always been more the person to let just hang out in the back, in the behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's the real background pony. Jack's just a pale imitator.
And yeah, as I mentioned, go ahead, Matt.
I was just going to say Applejack's the more sort of, the more down-to-earth, sensible pony, the one with the common sense.
Yeah. She doesn't, she's kind of in the middle, because, like, Applejack doesn't want to be the center of attention, as we saw in a few episodes ago, where she's, oh my gosh, Twilight, I'm popular. But she's also not one to just hang in the back and want to hang in the back. She steps up when she's needed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she likes helping, obviously to a fault a lot of times, but isn't just, it doesn't really care about any attention that it brings her and doesn't really like it, but also doesn't try and shove it like doesn't try to be in the back like Fluttershy does or did, or obviously Fluttershy has
Applejack is
changed over the
also a
season.
pony where I think if she went completely bald, it wouldn't bother her one bit.
Yeah, I guess probably wouldn't like it.
It's not. Yeah, she wouldn't like it, but it wouldn't affect her like farming or anything.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, yeah. Starlight Match has a good point. She wears a hat anyway, so maybe no one would even notice. And yeah, as I mentioned, it's great seeing Zecora again as well, and having her have such a big part in this episode, being that we hadn't seen her at all since the season 5 finale, and even that was sort of like an alternate universe Zecora. I'm not sure when the last time we saw her before the season 5 finale was either. I'm trying to think about when we saw her last, because I don't even think we saw her in episode 100.
Season 4 opener.
I don't think it's like that's the last one I can remember, but I feel like it's not the last one. But
I think it is though. That's the amazing thing. I think it is. The season 4 opener was the last time she had, because I mean, really, the season 5 finale. Yes, she appeared, but she appeared in what was essentially a what-if scenario.
Yeah.
She didn't actually appear, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Like I said, it was kind of like an alternate universe sort of thing.
Yeah, it wasn't the Zecora that you would,
Yes, she did. That's okay. So Raider Dog's right. She did have a little appearance there.
Yeah, she did appear in episode 100 at the wedding. And she appeared in On Your Marks, helping the Cutie Mark Crusaders make potions in her hut. And in the fall of her Cutie Marks, it says, Gabby helped Zecora make potions during Find the Purpose in Your Life.
Those must have all just been such short scenes that I don't even remember them. Yeah,
maybe just small little cameos. Maybe just small cameos, I guess.
Which itself is like a nice little callback, because it was Apple Bloom that basically was the first pony to basically, not be afraid of Zecora.
I really don't think we're going to ever see Zecora in Equestria Girls. I think I don't know exactly what they do. I think it would look kind of weird, because she's a zebra. So first off, you have to deal with that. She's not technically a pony. She's a zebra. So does that change anything from universe to universe? Obviously, Spike turns into a dog. Ponies turn to humans. What do zebras? Are they close enough? Are they not? And then
she turns into a black person.
So, but the thing is, but it's just do you have like her skin color be zebra colored, and that looks really weird in a human model, or do you go for just black or white? It's a lot of weird, awkward decisions to make.
That they would, if they turned her into say like a monkey or a chimpanzee or something, it would.
God.
A huge
yeah, I think. Yeah,
it would cause a huge.
I don't think they're gonna do that. But yeah, I really don't think you ever see Zecora, because it's just there's too many issues, mainly just because of her being a zebra and just the stripes, and does that translate well? Yeah.
Yeah, I think the most likely thing to happen is that she won't appear.
I'm sorry, I just had the mental image of Zecora going to the EQG verse and somehow becoming like some sort of blonde white valley girl with a taste for pumpkin spice lattes.
No, I'm just thinking if she did appear in the Equestria Girls, she'd be a bit like the witch doctor that was in the Monkey Island games.
Oh man, I haven't played those games in forever. That's a stream idea right there, if there ever was one.
Yeah, I've got the remakes that they did, which were done really, really well.
Yeah, I can maybe see that Starlight, kind of like a dark gray color skin and have the zebra be in the hair. I could actually see that working, yeah.
Yeah, that would actually work.
That was she's just a regular Equestria Girls that owns a huge, great big field of zebra.
Ooh, what if, and this is just, I'm just speculating at this point. What if she goes through the portal and she doesn't change at all?
She just turns into a real zebra.
Yeah.
That would be so funny.
They just plaster a real life zebra in there instead of
Yeah.
an animated one.
Yeah, exactly. Just a real life picture of a zebra, and they just kind of plop it around the screen.
God, what is this? Breadwinners?
I gotta mention this.
I'll go a bit more upmarket. Pickle and peanut.
Yeah, there you go. That's that thing is probably closer.
Upmarket version. I wouldn't even say Breadwinners is like the store brand. It's more like the really cheap value brand that you find in like the cheapest of shops.
Like the dollar stores, the Poundlands. There we go. That's what it is. Breadwinners is the Poundland of animated TV shows.
Well, no, it'd be the dollar store with it being an American show.
Yeah. To be truthful, I like how Poundland sounds better than dollar store.
Yeah,
It sounds more whimsical.
I love that we not only do we have a Poundland, we also have a chain of stores called Pound World as well. In fact, I actually went in a Pound World yesterday.
Pound World. Sounds like something an evil villain would do.
Hey, it could be a front for Dr. Evil for all we know.
Probably is. I did mention this earlier in the story, but I do like, more than just the ending, how throughout the entire episode the main six really work to help Rarity through it. Especially see it like with Applejack, Rainbow Dash, and Fluttershy. In those scenes where Rarity's freaking out and they're trying to like, I don't know, it doesn't look that great. But then when she's mentioning that she just doesn't know, she just doesn't know what to do and have any ideas, she'd appreciate them. And they just go out and each of them are like, yeah, sure, whatever. And they go out and try their best to at least help her. And I really liked how they were portrayed through it, especially I think Applejack was really kind of the lead in a lot of those scenes as well, in terms of really trying to make Rarity feel okay with who she was and help her through that situation.
Which is interesting when you consider how sort of polar opposite the two of them actually are as well.
I feel like there's some, like, they've really grown into some of the, like, the two are the closest ones of the main six, though. We've seen, they've had a lot of great episodes together as well. Past couple seasons.
Rary Jack is one of the popular ships.
Yeah, I don't ship, but if I do ship, it would be Rare Jack. Just because I like how they work together as characters. What do you mean Rarity wins Best Face of the episode? There's no way Rarity won Best Face of the episode. It's not like she has, like, 50 candidates in this episode alone for Best Face.
She's trying to catch up to Rainbow Dash after all these seasons.
in just one episode. That takes guts. She has confidence in her faces.
To be fair, all Rainbow Dash basically did in this episode was basically looking at Punk Rarity going, yeah, this is doing it for me.
Anything else for character discussion that anyone wants to mention for any of the characters in the episode?
I kind of almost was slightly hoping that we would have gotten a little bit of a callback of Punk Rarity just somehow managing to rock out with an acoustic guitar again. But admittedly, it probably would have been a little too much, so it's just as well that we didn't.
Yeah, Rarity, I guess, has like a rocker side now. I mean, we've seen her rock out on the guitar earlier, and now she has this kind of rocker look. She has this side that no one knew.
It's the hidden depths. And she's just got like a bunch of black metal albums just sort of hidden away in her.
I was very disappointed with this episode. We had a whole shop that sold fans and not one penis fan.
Rarity already bought all of them. In regards to the heavy rock music, it's probably what Rarity listens to when she's stress sewing.
I could just imagine just Rarity just putting on Slayer in the background while just going in around. Maybe a little bit of Korn, probably. I don't know.
It helps me work faster, darling.
Well, we already know that Fluttershy listens to death metal.
Fluttershy managed to convince Rarity of it. That's why Rarity listens to it now, is because Fluttershy listens to it. I mean, they are very close friends after all.
It's what they listen to on their spa days.
And then we just see Aloe and Lotus in the background, just kind of head banging and hair spinning.
So, moving on to the voice acting. Yeah, that. I mean, I know what everyone's gonna say here. I mean, the Tabitha on it, she kind of owned this episode.
Yeah, Tabitha she pretty much just owns every episode she's in.
Mm-hmm. But you gotta love episodes like this, which kind of give her the freedom to kind of go all out with Rarity's voice.
Like Eager Pony and more Eager Pony. What the hell? Those names.
And yeah, as we see with the voice cast list that was posted there, kind of quite a bit of voice cast for this episode, even though mainly just focused on Rarity and the main six, since we had all of those side ponies that had voices as well. So we see a lot of the standard Friendship is Magic voice cast here, reprising a lot of the roles that we've heard them play before, like Richard Cox as Mr. Breezy, Kazumi Evans as Rose, Brian Drummond as Filthy Rich, Kathy Westlack as Lily. Surprisingly, Kathy Westlack was in this episode, but did not voice anything for Spike, which is funny. And then Brenda actually voiced more than just Zecora. Also did the Crowd Pony and the aptly named More Eager Pony.
I find it interesting that Andrea Lemon actually voiced Bon Bon this time around.
I thought she voiced Bon Bon in episode 100. Because
I guess she did.
Yeah, because Ashley Ball voiced Lyra in episode 100.
I'll look this up here.
What's that? They've ruined it. She's not voiced by different people.
I know, right? She actually has
got a consistent voice actor now.
Well, it's alright having the same voice actor for her. They just should use a different voice every time they voice her.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's secretly a spy, so
she wasn't spying at this moment. She was off duty. Oh yes, and Ashley Ball is Daisy as well. So all three of the flower trio there.
I would love to see if when they obviously eventually bring Chrysalis back, that they use Sweetie Drops as like a secret agent to help them.
MLP turns into a spy thriller. I'd watch it.
Pony Bond.
Well, we already kind of had that in season 2. And the mystery on the Friendship Express. So here's something we have a lot to talk about with here, the humor in the episode. Obviously, a lot of humor in this episode, definitely was what made it so enjoyable. So what did everyone think about the humor in it? I'm assuming everyone found it pretty humorous.
Oh, quite a bit. I mean, Rarity in particular is just a good part of the humor. Pinkie Pie was no slouch, though. I mean, obviously, pulling a crowbar out from her mane, of all things.
Just does it so quickly too. It's like I don't want to meet Pinkie in a dark alley now because she pulls that up pretty quick.
You never know what she's going to be hiding in that hair of hers.
I'm waiting for her to pull another Pinkie out of her hair.
I mean, you wouldn't mind being with Pinkie though if you were in a dark alley though.
Yes.
At least
really, the only thing you really wouldn't have to worry about is if her hair's poofy. If her hair's poofy, then you're fine. If her hair's straight, then you're in trouble. or at least his fan would like to think.
I was just thinking, is Pinky like to have everything that she needs for any kind of emergency? And by any kind of emergency, I mean literally anything.
Yep, even that plastic bottle for bathroom emergencies.
Does she have a penis fan for penis fan emergencies?
All Pinky needs is a sonic screwdriver, and she's practically a Time Lord as it is.
Maybe the penis fan is the sonic screwdriver.
Oh my.
Pinky is a sonic screwdriver.
Yeah, I suppose she would be. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of humor, the way she freaking twists her.
I know.
Well.
Maybe not a screwdriver, but kind of a sonic spring there. That was really funny.
I'm beginning to wonder if whether Pinky is made out of rubber.
I think she's made out of bubble gum. Just like her entire body
candy,
and her
candy
hair.
Floss if you're British.
I guess no, her hair would be cotton candy then, and then her body would be bubble gum.
Yeah, I always get confused. Whenever someone says cotton candy, I have to keep thinking to myself, that's candy floss, because that's what we call it here in the UK.
Candy floss?
Yeah.
You said
I would have thought that
it's called candy floss here.
I would have thought that Pinky would be more like taffy myself.
I guess that works too. It's the same kind of texture, taffy and kind of bubble gum. It would make the sense. I was just saying bubble gum because she sort of has that bubble gum color.
Yeah.
You know that song Laffy Taffy? So that's what that song was about. It was about Pinkie Pie.
Oh my god. She is Laffy Taffy. She is the embodiment of Laffy Taffy.
But yeah, I like how DM12 mentions is that not only is Pinky able to use her hair as basically hammer space, but her hair is just as prehensile, has like anyone with actual hands and fingers. She can manipulate things with just her hair, being able to pick up things, play instruments with it.
Yep.
This is why if you had an Alicorn Pinky, literally nothing would change.
If we had an Alicorn Pinky, nobody would be safe. It would be just an endless party. It'd be like Nightmare Moon, only instead of like the night lasting forever, it'd be just the party would last forever.
Yes.
Damn it, Pinky, I want to go home. I need some
And yeah, like the picture that Radio Dog posted there with, I loved that little cutaway there, where it cuts away to that pony there in the Crystal Empire missing his hair. It's like and then it just cuts back mid scream.
A very effeminate scream for a stallion, no less.
It almost sounded like the same scream that they used for Rarity.
Oh, Pip Rarity's scream though when she first finds out about the state of her hair.
Oh god.
Her mane, sorry. Oh my god.
My favorite part about that is how
the one that beats it is the Scootaloo squee.
My favorite part about that though is not just the scream, but how it cuts. Like it cuts into the commercial. Like the scream is still continuing, and there's just a hard cut into the commercial. It doesn't
smash
even
cut. Yeah.
Yeah. It just doesn't even give it time to end.
I love how when Starlight and Twilight try to, do like some sort of spell on Rarity, but there's like just a distant reaction shot of just the hair just blowing out of every nook and cranny on the castle. And Spike just kind of clipping away at it with just a pair of scissors.
In the woods when they first get into the Everfree Woods when they're going to Zecora, and Rarity eventually just tells the creepy yellow eyes to pretty much just bugger off.
Listen, spooky eyes, why don't you take a picture? It'll last longer. Wait, no, taking a picture is the last thing I want to have happen in my state.
Hey, you say that Starlight is magic. Snipper clips can take quite a while because that game can be pretty damn freaking tricky.
Mm-hmm.
I love how Rarity just kept growing increasingly frustrated that everyone just kind of bluntly agrees that her band is every bit as bad as she thinks it is. Can't anyone pretend it's not that bad? No.
It's pretty bad.
Special mention to the fact that her cat takes one look at her hair and completely freaks the fuck out.
I loved Opal coming out of the ice cream container in that scene. That was really fun. And oh my god, all that ice cream. Just like it's like a record for amount of ice cream I've seen Rarity with now.
I will say that Rarity is probably the reason alone that the ice cream parlor in Ponyville is still in business.
Oh man, another Rarity freakout. Oh sweet, I can finally buy that new car now.
It's my lucky day.
I also love how like Zecora says that pretty much the only way to fix her man would be to go back in time, and Rarity just kind of looks eagerly over at Starlight and Twilight, and they both just say like no. We can both verify that is a bad idea.
Yep, and then they still do it. I love that line. I love that line. It's like where it's like, yeah, main magic is a really tricky thing, and Rarity's just like make with the tricks. Which I imagine is Seth's reaction for every episode.
Hey, wouldn't they have got Trixie to like do some kind of trick to make it look like she'd got hair or a mane or something?
I don't think Trixie's that good.
Hey, she managed to impress Discord. Well, that might be setting a low or a high bar, depending on how you want to look at it.
This is true. I really liked, and we mentioned this earlier about how Matt mentioned how the potions got mixed up and how that was, he liked how he did that. I just really liked, the reason that happened was Rarity reacting to the infantly splitting end comment, and she's like, ah! Which was, I enjoyed that. That was a good way of sort of instigating that switch up there.
To say, the only thing that would have made the Rarity, kind of a moping and eating ice cream scene would be better is if we kind of heard her going the nom nom again, like the last two times we saw her doing this.
She was too depressed to nom.
Yeah.
I really
also love how.
Oh, good.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
I was about to say, I loved how like after Rarity's little makeover, when they go, visit Pinky in Sugar Cube Corner to try to like get the stuff taken care of. Pinky takes one look at Rarity and she just totally overlooks the fact that she looks completely different. She's like, "There's something different about you. Are you using new hoof polish?"
And Rarity just gives this great scowl.
As if to say, seriously, Pinky, you're that unobservant.
Mm-hmm. Also, I really liked when Rarity went back into the marketplace with her hair being, mostly gone, and she's just like, I can't show my mane looking like this, and he cuts to this, this guy behind him holding this baby, and the baby starts crying. Baby cries like that, and like awkward coughing will always make me laugh.
Also, had Technotron mentions in the chat about how like when Pinky was talking with Zecora, Pinky just curling her neck around in like a spiral. Even Zecora's just kind of, what the hell?
That's not natural.
To be fair, Pinky isn't natural at all, so... I'm sorry, Jay, what you were about to say?
I was about to say nearly the same thing. I was about to say, well, sort of. I was going to say it's natural for Pinky.
So whenever Pinky does anything like that, you just have to go, it's Pinky.
One of the other reactions that I really liked was Twilight's reaction when Starlight says that Rarity's mane is messed up, and she kind of gives that, no, cut it out gesture. With a really, really good face, funny face pose there as well. Also, Harry the Bear trying to help with putting like a bird's nest in her hair. Poor Harry. He was just trying to help.
I just really have this cool image now of if they have to like go after, say, like a changeling army again, that Fluttershy rides into battle on top of Harry the Bear. That would be so fucking awesome.
I kind of also like the woodpecker kind of showing up several times. Kind of like that one eagle who's just kept snatching things up from that one episode.
Well, that also when they were like using magic to try and help Rarity, and they were taking things from other places as well. That was hilarious as well.
There's a little line that I when I was rewatching the episode today, a little line from Filthy Rich that I caught. He was like, "Is lavender purple?" when he was talking to Rarity there, which I find kind of funny.
To be
Also,
fair, as a man, I don't know much about flowers, so.
Then there's also Pinky's reaction when she's trying to get Rarity to read the magazine, and eventually Pinky's just like, "Read it!"
Probably would have been better if she'd somehow managed to get that sort of a little bit of demon voice that she adopted back with that one Applejack episode when she went out to Dodge Junction. just sort of like her voice kind of echoey, sort of dark and deep, like read it, man. Even better if Rarity just doesn't even bother. She just doesn't even blink. She just gives that same sort of unamused stare.
The image that Radio Dogs just posted, I love the fact that that Rarity is still taking the mantra that she did from a few episodes ago and wearing her emotions.
It's stress couture, darling.
She looks like a freaking cake in that dress.
You should better watch out, Celestia.
Yeah, I was just gonna say she don't want to wear that around Celestia. Especially if she's tired and she's not like seeing straight. She might think she's a massive walking cake.
Like, excuse me, princess. Why are you salivating so much?
Why are you dribbling on me, princess?
Damn it, now I just got the mental image of like Princess Celestia just kind of bobbing her head as Brody Quest just starts playing in the background.
Also, I do love how Rainbow is like completely enamored by Punk Rarity as well. It's like, I wish I looked that awesome.
Yeah, Rainbow Dash is having conflicting feelings about how she feels about Rarity now.
Do you know what's funny though? I actually think the punk look that would suit Rarity much more than it would Rainbow. Though, even though I think Rainbow's got the voice to sing punk rock better than
well, Rainbow already kind of sort of has a somewhat of a punk look.
We spoke about this before in the week. Yeah, awesome as I want to be is
yeah, but I think Rainbow also kind of already has a punk look, not as outrageous as Rarity's was eventually, but especially in the Equestria Girls, it's more pronounced.
Yeah.
I want to see Rocker Rarity in Equestria Girls now.
I just love the fact that punk is something that's a thing in MLP, just at all. when you consider the origins of punk and what punk actually is as a movement, the fact that they think that's suitable and fine for a kid show, that's perfectly fine. Anarchy in a kid show, actually that fits much better than it probably has any right to. So yeah.
In terms of the animation and the visuals in the episode, one of the things that really stuck with me from that was the pinky shrug. I had to make that an emote after I saw that because it was such a good posing on that shrug. It was very close to the normal the normal derpy shrug that we've had for a while now. You usually see all the characters. You see fan things of that pose with all the different characters. Also, I mean, of course, this is a given, but just amazing Rarity animation, and especially facial animation, just throughout the entire episode there, as she gets more and more crazy and more flustered with everything. There's just so many hilarious poses and faces that she had as she was going through all these freakouts through the episode, and also more subtle things, again, like her, like all the scenes where she's wearing the hood on her and she's trying to hide her face, and she goes through a lot of different poses there that are outrageous but still more subtly funny. And of course, we already mentioned this. Matt mentioned it earlier, but again, just the design of Rarity's new look there, that punk rock look that she has, was just amazingly well realized. It's not something I would ever think I would see, and I would ever think would work that well with her. But that she really owned that look, and I really, really loved the design of it. Not as much as Matt, but I did really like it.
Hey, the fact that I like it more than Flutterbat says everything all you need to know. Also, the fact that all I've been posting in like fan works for the past couple of days is just like fan art after fan art of Punk Rarity.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see that changing until like Saturday's episode either. Then normal service will probably be resumed.
Until I do something with Fluttershy that tops Roger Rarity.
Yeah, when they eventually get Punk Fluttershy, Matt'll go back.
I don't see Punk Fluttershy really working just from a conceptual level, to be honest.
Well, then again, if you would have told me last week the same thing about Rarity, I would have said I don't see that working at all either.
Then again, I was just going to say Fluttershy doing anarchy. Then again, we see her going fuck the police when she was trying to act like Discord. So
she'd be a little more subdued, Punk. Also, I don't know if I maybe someone else can find it because I don't have it, but there's a GIF of it out there, but at the very end of the episode when they're back in Sugar Cube Corner, in the background you see Applejack playing with Pound Cake's hair, because they've been using the shampoo and it's all like bouncy and stuff like Pinky mentioned earlier, but she's like so incredibly interested in it, like a cat, and it's really cute. Because she gets so much enjoyment out of that little moment. Wonder if I can find it. Let's see.
I have it here. I'm just pulling it up right now.
Never mind.
Actually,
No, Radio Dog got it. That's not a GIF though. Do you have a GIF? The GIF is what
I got
makes
it.
that. There we go. That is like the cutest animation right there. She's like. She just has a frown on. She's like, this is interesting. Let me try this. With these big open eyes, too, like,
And then she just sort of grins as she sees it just kind of bouncing back and forth.
Applejack's having way too much fun there.
Yeah. And it's so funny because this is happening just in the background. It's one of the things I really like about this show, and one of the things that the Flash animation provides versus other shows is this is all happening in the background of Rarity talking, like completely on, your focus is probably going to be on Rarity anyway for a number of reasons, but they still kind of stick little things like this in here, and that's something that this show does really well, and I think it's one of the strengths of Flash, is since you have all these puppets that you're pretty much animating and a lot of pre-made animations and, and poses, and obviously the puppets are pre-made, you don't have to redraw them every time or anything like that. It allows you to do more stuff in the background. If you see stuff that's more traditional animation, unless it has like a really big budget like movies and stuff, on TV, normally stuff that happens in the background doesn't move that often. It doesn't move until it has to. You'll see a lot of times, unless a character is in the center talking or doing something, characters in the background will usually just be static, other than maybe some blinks or some subtle moves. But this show really does it really well, where there's always really interesting stuff, always movement. The backgrounds are always so alive because all the characters are moving, and I think that plays directly into Flash's strengths. With that, it just allows a lot more liveliness, a lot more fluidity outside of the main the main focus of whatever the shot is.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing with this show. I mean, I think the most important thing is that still a lot of effort placed into the animation for the show, because you say that the show plays to the strength of Flash, but the reason why it does so is because it actually puts the effort to do so, because there are a lot of Flash Flash animated shows that don't and look cheap because of it.
Yep. I mean, you have to put the effort in to actually do this kind of stuff, and they're using Flash's strengths and putting, like Matt said, putting that effort in to use Flash's strengths, rather than just kind of using Flash as a crutch to easily shoot out some cheap animations.
Oh my god, that booping of Bon.
Yeah, keep in mind, everyone, Flash is not going away, because I've seen a lot of people freaking out that Pony's going to be in trouble or something like that. Flash is for a while now. Flash has actually been changed. It's not Adobe Flash anymore. It's Adobe Animate. They've kind of rebranded it, being that obviously web animations and Flash on the internet are kind of going to the past, but a lot of companies obviously still use Flash as an animation tool for outside of the web, TV, etc. So they long ago changed Flash to Adobe Animate. That is not going anywhere, people. That's not, Adobe Animate's going around. The thing that's being discontinued is the Flash web player. So, that's being discontinued.
God,
thank God, because that I will not miss that away.
It's just a security nightmare now, basically.
I do have nostalgic things of watching Flash animations and stuff on the web, but yeah, it's time for that to move on. So yeah, Flash itself, the Flash web player, is being discontinued, but Flash is the animating tool now. Adobe Animate it's not going anywhere. Nothing's changing there. They're still supporting that. They're still releasing new stuff about that. Yeah. So I want to make that clear. Not that anyone here might think that, but I've seen a lot of other people on the internet worried about shows animated in Flash, like they're suddenly going to go away in 2020 or something. Yeah.
I mean, not that that matters hugely. I mean, we're beginning to see a little bit of Pony stuff being animated in Toon Boom via Boulder Media anyway.
And also
that recent Happy Birthday short was actually animated by Boulder, and from the looks of it, it looked like it was animated using Toon Boom.
No, I'm pretty sure that was still Adobe Animate.
You think?
Yeah.
It's just I know a lot of Boulder stuff is done using Toon Boom.
But they also have done Flash stuff as well. I mean, just like Top Draw, the studio that animates Pony, also does Toon Boom stuff as well. They're usually interchangeable.
Well, I suppose they have to have the ability to be able to do both, because they're like the two most commonly used tools now.
Yeah.
So
pretty much the only two.
Well, for 2D animation, anyway.
Oh yeah, good point. Oh gosh, anything else for humor or animation that anyone wants to mention before we move on? Don't want to play that on stream. That's a spoiler. There we go. Now I'm in the right album. I might have been listening to something else before we went live.
I wonder if it's got something to do with
something. Let's see.
Something that's out in like just over 2 weeks' time in America.
Yeah. Or I guess maybe technically this week in terms of the music. Okay, so yeah, we'll go on to this, and I was about to click the score, and then I remembered, no, wait, we actually had a song in this episode, sort of. It's actually
sort of.
It's interesting because this is really feels like a season 1 episode in this aspect. It's been a long time since we've had a very short kind of throwaway Pinky song. If you remember back in the beginning of season 1, before we got to episodes like Winter Wrap Up, where we had the big Winter Wrap Up number, and that kind of changed the course of music in the show from there on out to these much more center stage grand numbers. Before that, most of the music was just shorter Pinky songs. Starting with the laughter
days
song
when
at the beginning.
When people thought it's the only pony that was going to sing,
Yeah.
going to be Pinkie Pie.
Yep. And then of course then you have all these, but after like the laughter song you had multiple episodes like the ticket song and oh gosh, what was they're so short that I can't even like remember them. But
Well, obviously you had you obviously had the Giggle at the Ghosty song as well.
yeah, that was it, but that was a little bit bigger. I mean, there was a lot of songs that were very short, very short
Cupcakes.
songs. Yeah, in the beginning. And the thing is,
I mean the song, not the fan
Yeah.
work.
and we haven't really had any songs like that since season 2, with the from Pinky in season 2 with The Friend Indeed, where she had kind of a lot of really short numbers in that one. But even those were all composed by Daniel Ingram. So going back even farther, really, it's been since that beginning of season 1 where we had these like short Pinky songs like this that were actually composed by William Anderson as part of the score, versus Ingram composing a song for the series. And that's something that was a little more common again back in that beginning of season 1 there, before we got to those bigger songs later in the season, where we would have all these really short, just Pinky songs. And most of the time, it would just be composed by William Anderson. So a little bit of a throwback to that in this, with this short Pinky song here,
Sneezyversary.
Sneezyversary.
What
a
actually,
name!
just thinking back on humor, can we just laugh at the fact that Pinkie Pie even has such a thing as a Sneezyversary?
It seems like something she would do, just like.
Does she have like an anniversary for when they had their first ever shit?
The shit-iversary. Happy shit-iversary. Hey, Matt, that's what we should have on the 1-year anniversary of the Emoji Movie.
I was just about to say that.
Happy shit-iversary.
We should send it to Patrick Stewart. Happy
God.
shit
We'll send him a card on Twitter.
with the shit emoji on the front of it.
Of course. So this is really short. This is obviously only 15 seconds, but here's that song. Actually, one of the things I really liked about that was Pinky playing. Could you guys not hear that in the call?
I couldn't.
God, why I specifically did this before we went on, and I switched the input setting and restarted Discord, and it switched it back. Let me try and relaunch this really quick to see if I can. Oh, now Discord's going to want to download an update. Yay. Oh, now it's downloading another update. Come on. You can launch. I believe in you. Okay, let's see if it actually kept the voice settings. Yes, it did. This is good. That is good. Okay, well, should be good going forward now. But yeah, one of the things I really liked about that scene, that song is Pinky playing the accordion there with her mane. That was pretty fun. But yeah, it's just really the one thing I wanted to point out with that was again just that sort of season 1 vibe from that we got. So moving on to the score, not as much as last week with the Daring Do episode, obviously. So, not quite as much to talk about, but there is a few things that I did want to point out. Most of the really good stuff here is actually closer to the end of the episode that I want to point out. We do get I won't play it because they're kind of long, but we do get more of Zikora's sort of African like percussion and drums score that she gets for her scenes, and that's pretty much the same stuff that she's gotten for all of her appearances in the show. So we do get that a couple more times for her and her reappearance here. So that was nice to see. Of course, a lot of harpsichord throughout the episode. It's a Rarity episode. Harpsichord is her main instrument that she has. So we get that featured throughout the entire episode, of course. But I'll kind of just go right to the last few tracks here. First one is this is from the Inside Out. So this is right when the main six are like inspiring Rarity, and right before she takes on that rocker persona and rocker look there. So it's a really, really nice, inspiring sounding track. I really like this one. It's probably my second favorite of the episode, especially since it's a newer it's a new track. It's not a reused one from a previous episode. It's a very classic. Forgot about that at the end. It's a very classic sounding MLP. Friendship is Magic. In terms of the instrumentation, there you've got the clarinet mixed, playing the melody along with a glockenspiel, which is a very Friendship is Magic instrumentation, going all the way back to season 1. So it's a very familiar sound, and I really like the progression it takes with the melody and the chords in that. Now, the next one I find really cool. This is my favorite one just because of what it does. This next track uses a motif that we've heard a couple times before in the series. I believe we heard it, if I'm remembering correctly, in the Starlight Glimmer episode from season 6. The name is escaping me now. The one where she kind of brainwashes everyone accidentally, on purpose. That one, at the end of that one...
yeah. Oh god.
That one. We it appeared in that one, and it appeared in another episode early this season as well. I actually believe it was the it was the Rarity and Sweetie Belle episode, Forever Philly, earlier this season, and appeared during the track at the end of that one, along with another one of the pieces that is included in this episode. It's a very nice track. I really like this cue that they have here. In previous appearances, it was played on piano with a little bit of harpsichord for Rarity's version earlier this season. But this one's really cool because this is the music that plays right after Rarity does her sort of transformation, takes on that punk rock persona. So it plays
Ryan,
this theme.
The episode that you were looking for is every.
Yeah, every little thing she does. Yeah, that was it. What I really like about this is it takes that theme, and of course it's Rarity, so it plays the melody on harpsichord. But the really cool thing that this does, it is actually backs that melody and plays the melody also with a little more subtle electric guitar in it, which has this really weird sound that I never thought would work. I never thought I would hear electric guitar and harpsichord, having some duet on a melody here, but it actually kind of works, much like Rarity's look in the episode. And I just found it really cool that we did that we managed and did that musically in the episode. So again, keeping that harpsichord for Rarity, but then adding in that electric guitar for this new look. So you'll hear what I mean in the track, in this Rocker Rarity track here. I thought that was so cool. Especially when I was re-listening to it as well. I guess it was just a nice like musical touch to that scene there to both be familiar with Rarity, but also something new to match that new look she had. After that, we have 2 more tracks here. We got The Brightest Filly in Equestria. This is... I'm trying to remember when this was. This is the scene directly following that montage of Rarity helping ponies out, and the business ponies out with her new look. This is before that, but before the time skip and before the epilogue. Oh yeah, this is this track. I was trying to remember which one it was. Yeah, this is this one. This is also sort of a new one. It's a guitar and piano one that sort of has this da 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 da. And the interesting thing here is it's very similar to one of Sunset Shimmer's motifs, actually, from Equestria Girls that we've heard in the past 2, I guess in the past 3, because it appeared in the last one of the specials and in Mirror Magic, and then it also was in Friendship Games 2 movies ago. But she has this kind of similar theme where it's played on guitar, da 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 da, and it usually plays it when she's writing in the journal to Twilight. It does that in both in Friendship Games, and then when she's trying to write in the journal again in Mirror Magic, plays that theme. So it's actually very similar to that. Again, working in the instrumentation here, again mixing that harpsichord and the electric guitar for Rarity's new look here, which is just awesome. Like a little staccato part at the end here. Wish that would go on a little longer. And finally, we get to the sort of moral part of the episode where we have one of the lesson themes, I believe. Here, let me see which one it is. Has a little intro here, kind of a bouncy intro. There we go. More traditional harpsichord now for Rarity. She's back to normal. Oh yeah, is this one here? Yeah, this one. This one also was used at the end, I believe, in Forever Filly, in that same track that the last one was used in, and it's been used in a few other episodes as well as sort of an ending lesson theme. Again, with that heavy harpsichord use on top of the piano there, now that Rarity's sort of back to normal in that scene. So that's all the score from the episode there. It's a little lighter in the beginning of it, but get those 4 tracks at the end there, which are really nice. And I just really love the mixture of the harpsichord and the electric guitar there. It fits really well with Rarity's new persona at the end of the episode there. So we kind of discussed this already in the writing for it, but what does everyone think about that episode theme, the episode's theme and moral?
I thought we kind of covered that already, but basically what you look on the outside isn't as important as you feel on the inside. And the only one who can make you feel inferior is you. Being confident makes you beautiful, no matter what you look like.
Yep, and even like I mentioned, even just more than that, it's more than just beauty, inner or outer, but it's about how you feel about yourself and that confidence you have in yourself that truly makes you stand out and have a presence. You know, if you don't have that confidence in yourself, you're not going to be able to stand out like Rarity wants to. and that's what she'd always had. But when she lost that beauty, she thought she lost what she had. What she had, she thought her beauty was everything, but it wasn't the beauty; it was the confidence, and also who she is on the inside.
Also, being a good friend is also being able to help see your friends, see the confidence that they should have from within themselves.
Yep, about seeing your friend's inner beauty and helping them gain that confidence back. Yeah. Like I said, I really like the moral. It's on the surface there. It's sort of like a overly used standard moral about, everyone's pretty on the inside, and it's but the inside counts. But I think they take it a mature step further. Again, with that, they talk about confidence and being the important thing there. Yeah, exactly what Starlight's Magic is saying there. It could have been a lesser moral and just pretty much said, "Oh, beauty doesn't matter," but it really wasn't about that at all.
What I love is when obviously this show very first started, it could have been so easy for them to fall into the trap of making Rarity an incredibly shallow character, but really the amount of depth they've managed to eke out of Rarity is what's probably made her one of the very best characters in the show. Not that I'm saying that she's like any more or lesser than most of the main characters in this show, but she could have been a lot lesser had they have not taken the route that they have with her, and I'm really pleased that they have done that, because she could have been a very stereotypical character in the show, considering this is a show meant for for young girls and blah blah blah. They didn't do that. They had the business angle with her. They've had the creativity angles with her and everything, and it's really worked. And this is just another manifestation of that.
Yeah, I mean, they took kind of the stereotypical, it's the good-looking one, and made it so much more. I mean, like Matt said, she could have easily been just the one that's there to promote fashion and stuff that girls are going to relate to this one really well because fashion. But they made her so much more, and they made her first and foremost like a businesswoman, business pony, and I think that's a really cool thing to show kids about. It's more than just her being so good looks, but she's running a business, and she really cares about it, is generous to other people as well, and she's more than just the good looks, and this episode really helped to show that even further. So favorite parts and not favorite parts of the episode. Always have a weird time trying to phrase that. For me, I think favorite parts definitely just Rarity overall. I mean, just Tabitha's more specifically Tabitha's performance and the animation that they give Rarity was just fantastic. Humor is definitely this episode's strong suit. I don't want to diminish my opinion on the moral either. I think the moral is also a favorite part of the episode for me, and kind of what they did with Rarity's character. But the humor, spot on. I definitely think that the episode's weak points, which we've already gone over, and they really do stand out. I don't think it's enough to make me to outbalance all the stuff I did like about the episode, because I really did like that like I said, the story and what they put Rarity through here, and the lesson that she learned. But of course, the way Haber sort of did that had a lot of holes and contrived kind of things to try and plug a few things that did hurt the episode. But at the same time, it would be hard to do it in this universe otherwise without having those holes. So I'm kind of torn whether or not, do I focus on those holes? Do I focus on those problems, or and say that I don't want this episode at all, or do I want the episode or not? Because I think you almost have to have some of those to actually have that episode, unless you do like what Matt had mentioned before and do this in like the Equestria Girls universe. Yeah, like Mr. Ben said, I'm willing to overlook it because of how much I like what they did in spite of it. I don't want to shove it under the rug and say they weren't issues, because there are issues with the episode. But for me personally, I like what they did with it much more than those issues would pull it down. If someone didn't like this episode because of those issues, I wouldn't blame them. Things might be more important to other people than to me. But for me personally, it was. I thought it was fine in the end. Final thoughts, conclusions, concluding feelings for everyone.
Just looking forward to the next episode.
Normal things with me being the Fluttershy fanboy next time, I'm sure.
The ride never ends. Oh boy. Yeah, just like I said, it was an enjoyable episode. Definitely humor carried it. I like what they did with Reddy's character and kind of what they explored with her character. Had some problems, but overall for me, it was a solid episode. I don't do like score ratings, but it was good. It was enjoyable. What more can I ask?
Yeah.
It's good to have Haber back. I'm happy he's back, helping story editing, and I'm happy to have him back so soon writing an episode. I was not expecting him to be back before the season finale to write an episode here. So it is nice having him back, and I look forward to seeing more stuff from him this season because I loved the stuff he's written in the past, like Friendship Games and the season 5 finale and season 6 finale. So definitely looking forward to more Haber on top of Christine and Joanne as well. Beep beep. Uh-oh, someone's on fire. The wig shop is on fire.
My hair is on fire. My hair is on fire. My hair is on fire. My hair is.
Oh my god! They should have had Rarity do that in the episode. I'm just imagining her saying it, and it's. Oh my god. That would have been perfect.
Pinky trying out indoor pyrotechnics.
Maybe I shouldn't have used that much gunpowder. Well, with that, everyone, thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Equine Episode Examination, and we will, of course, be back next week, same time, at Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, to talk about this weekend's episode number 20, The Health of Information. And, of course, we'll be live chatting during that at 11:30 this weekend as well here, so if you want to join us for that, make sure you do, and watch the episode get to watch the episode in English. And then we'll be, of course, discussing that next week on Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Equine Episode Examination. And we'll also be announcing this weekend, of course, what we'll be doing on the next CQ riffs, so stick around for that. Thanks all so much for joining us, and have a great day. Bye-bye.
I made it to the end.
Yay!